Okay. Well, last week we had a set versus contract, and we had example of making the contract and making the set. Yes, we did. And these were the examples. We had three of spades for making the contract, and we had four of clubs in making the set. And I always do want to clarify as we see these circled. Remember, bridge is a team. So North is working with South. North is considered the declare. I'm just going to put DC for declare, just easier for me to write. There we go. And South is what they call officially in bridge dummy. We call it the silent partner. I'll put just SIL. Okay. And ditto is over here for East in the sense they are DC, declare. And West is a silent partner. So, I mean, you'll be hearing us saying declare quite a bit of time. And we're always referring to they're the ones who won the bid, but they still are teammates with West. But during the hand, as they're declaring we're going to get four clubs, East will play their hand and they will play West hand. Same thing for North. When they declare that three spades, we'll get three spades. They, being the declarer, will make the decision for their hand and for their silent partner's hand. Great. Well, this three spades and this four clubs, this declaration, what does it mean? Well, let's clarify that a little bit. This with an equation. Six Tricks is the book. All of them who are making these declaring bids have to get those first six tricks. The odd tricks, okay, these are the winning bids. These are the odd tricks here. Okay. Excellent. So what does that mean? Well, that declare a three spades, how many tricks do they need? They need 9 tricks. Okay. Mr. Four Clubs or Mrs. Four Clubs or Ms. or Mr. How many tricks does the Four Clubs need? They need 10 tricks. Great. Okay, well, wait a minute. As we go back to this equation, for those first 6 tricks that either 3 spades or 4 clubs get, do they get anything for that? No, they just get the donut hole, the big 0 on that. How about the odd tricks? Cha-ching! Yeah, that's when you get something there. So we're going to go ahead and clarify the cha-ching on this next slide. Wait a minute. There's nothing on this slide. How am I supposed to? Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about the hierarchy points here. And as we recall, the hierarchy being NT, spades, hearts, diamonds, and club. Goes with our little jingle there. And so we see those points, and we just talked about 3 spades that they need to have 9 tricks. And during the example that we had shown on set versus contract, how many did they get as we recall? Woo-hoo! They got 10 tricks. And so what does that mean? Well, they got 3. Their contract was, making the contract was 3 times 30, because that's how many points you get above book for each odd trick. So their first 3 odd tricks, they got 90 contract points. Those are contract points because this was the contract. But they had an additional one because they got 10 and they only needed 9. And because of that, again, you get 30 points for every trick, every odd trick above book. So that one extra trick gave them another 30 points. Yay! Okay, so how did our buddies, the 4 clubs, do? Well, we determined on the last slide that they needed to make 10 tricks. Well, how many did they get? They did not quite make the 10. Well, do they get any? Hey, Yeah, they were supposed to get 10, but they did 9 tricks. That's a lot of tricks. Did they get anything for that effort? The big fat zero, my friends. They were one short. Now, when a team is one short, which West and the East is, when they're one short, what happens is, of course, again, that big zero that we had here, I will show it again. Big Zach zero. They don't get any points, which means North-South gets points. For each trick that they are short, we times that by 50. And when we times it by 50, what's it going to equal? 50 under trick points. So yeah, they were short or under tricks, I guess I'm calling them. And yeah, sorry about that, East-West. Now, something also that Mojo had brought to our attention is something called the game contract bid. Okay, and he said, hey, you can win a game if you can make a bid that's worth 100 points or more. And here we got this explained right up here. These are all segmented. I'm going to show it in the vertical sense, and I'm going to call it the 3, 4, 5s. Because what we got here is we got 3 NT, and that equals 100 points. Oh, sorry, that's in the way there. And then we got our 4, and really 4s because we got 4 spades and we got 4 hearts. And as we know, when you times that by 30, in fact, I'll just kind of circle that here, that we got 4 times 30 equals 120 points. Then we go down to the diamonds and the clubs, the 5s, and we get 20 points, whether we choose diamonds or clubs. You times that by 5 and you get 100 points. Cool. Well, now some of you may be saying, okay, wait a minute, you're saying you get a game if you go 100 points. Well, up here, yeah, the 3 spade, if you take 90 and 30, that equals 120. But again, going by what Mojo said, you have to make the bid for over 100 or more. And here, they made a bid of 3, and 3 times 30 is 90. So they didn't make the bid. Even though they made 120, they would have needed to make that a 4. A 4 bid, 4 spade bid. But they did not. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and have Mojo kind of go over what we just said in much more clarity than I brought it to your attention. And yeah, take it away, Mojo.
Okay, hello everybody. This is, who are we? Well, we're trick-taking games, and we got Mojo. He's going to go over a nice little recap for us, and then he's going to create something that we're going to have to recap later. So Mojo from Pasadena Bridge Club.
Hey guys, all right, let's talk about, remember our trick scores, 20 points for the minor suits, clubs and diamonds, 30 points for the major suits, hearts and spades, no trump, 40 points for the first odd trick and 30 points for each one after that. An odd trick is all of the ones over 6. The first 6 don't count. We're caught up, right? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, and the first 6 were
Book, yes, book. All right, so I've got a score sheet here, and if you get a Rubber Bridge scoring sheet, it's going to be like this with a line in the middle. You got a column for us, a column for them. Hopefully you've got a little space to write down the contracts. So you've got 3 diamond by north. Let's say we're sitting north-south. And so this is our contract. And let's say it makes 3. So what's the trick score? Well, if we won 9 tricks and we made our contract of 3, that's a minor suit. So that'll be 20 points a trick. So that'll be 60 points for us. Now, tricks bid and made, they go below the line. So we'll put 60 here. What if the contract were 3 no trump making 4? In other words, we got an over trick. Well, the tricks we bid and made go below the line. The over trick goes above. Excuse me, not 30, but 20. This is diamonds.
Oh, okay, so that's that 3DN, which is the 3 diamonds.
3 diamonds by north,
And when you say +3 or +4, what does that basically indicate?
This is the number of tricks over 6 that we won.
Ah, okay, so anything that has past that is going to tell us anything, or if it's a plus, it's going to be above 6.
Above 6, right?
Got it.
So this let us make our contract. Let's suppose we're in another contract that went 4 spades by south, and it was down 2. So we didn't make our contract, right? We only won 8 tricks instead of 10. So 50 points each for the tricks we didn't get, and the opponents get 100 points. And those go above the line because they weren't tricks bid and won.
Oh, I see. I like that because I'm almost like taking the 6, and wherever you put a minus or a plus, then it tells me basically how many tricks.
Exactly.
Nice.
Let's say our next hand was 1 no trump by north, making 1. All right. I made 7 tricks. I won 7 tricks. I made the contract. A no trump trick is worth 40 points for that first one. If I made another trick, it'd be worth 30 more, but I only made the 1. So I got 40 points below the line. Now, this is a significant total. This adds up to 100. At this point, I take my pencil and I draw a line because my side has won a game. When you get to 100 points below the line, you've won a game. Now that's the first game of a rubber. You've heard us calling it rubber bridge, and when a side wins 2 games, that ends the rubber.
Just a question out of curiosity. So
Yeah.
us has 60 plus the 40. If Ben had anything in that contract area or something?
Yeah, if East-West, say they played 2 clubs making 2 at some point, 2 clubs by West making 2, they would have 40 points over here, but it wouldn't matter because we reached 100 before they did. So that ends the rubber. We won the first game.
What happens to their 40 points?
Yeah, they go away. We start over
Oh,
in terms of the
okay.
game score, in terms of the rubber.
Got it.
I mean, the first game is over. Let's play another one. Let's keep playing. Let's say on the next contract, the opponents play 3 no trump by east, and they make 3. All right, they just earned 40 plus 30 plus 30. They won 9 tricks. They get 100 points below the line, and that is a complete game. That's it.
And that was called, I think you said there was like a trump for that or something?
Well, the 3 no trump, since if they make it, it comes to 100 points or more, we call this a game contract because in one contract, you get to win a whole game. Now, we have a special name for these 2. We call them part scores because each one of them can be part of a game. You add them together when they come up to 100, your side has won a game.
Now, is that 40 over there on them? Is that considered a part score as well?
This is also a part score. Unfortunately, they didn't get any more part scores, so they didn't win a game. Our side won the first game.
So the cumulative of that 60, so to win a game, you don't have to win it in one hand.
You don't have to win it in one hand, not in rubber bridge, right? You can win it in 2 hands or 3. I mean, you could potentially play 2 clubs making 2 3 times and win a game, but you have to play 3 hands to do that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So even if you're playing in tournaments or in a club where we're not playing rubber bridge, we still call them part scores. We still call them game contracts because you can add together part scores to make up a game in rubber bridge, and the name has survived.
I love it. Okay, I think you clarified that very well, and I know that last time we spoke, we said, okay, we're going to go ahead and try to do some bonuses, but you know what?
Save it for next time.
Save it for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will save it. But I always like how Mojo ends with a smile, that smile of assurance to us all. For some reason, it gives me a lot of comfort. And, as Mojo was going over this part score lesson, for some reason, it reminded me of Abe Lincoln's famous first two words of the Gettysburg Address, which were four score. And because it refers to a number equaling 80, which are the scores, which are 20 points each. Now, each one of those 20 points is a part score. So, damn, it clicked for me right there. And as Mojo put across, when we put part scores together equaling 100, you win the game. Now, obviously, Abraham Lincoln's four score is much more historically significant than us combining scores together to win a bridge game. But that it was the fun plus familiar aha moment, or Abe Lincoln moment for me, that brought about comprehension. And I do urge all of us to find our own familiar in aiding us in comprehending this part score concept and other concepts in bridge, and just kind of just share it with us in the comment section below. No matter how twisted you may think your familiarity is, it may help out us fellow newbies and novices. Just like, hey, have you ever thought of it this way? And bang, it clicks the aha moment. So don't hesitate, but we're going to, I'm getting a little hypnotic here. So let's get out of this hypnotic state and go into a quick recap. Yeah, let's go into a recap of what Mojo put across to us. Okay, so we got 3DN plus 4. Let's go ahead and explain that. Well, 3, we know what 3 is. D is diamonds. There's the diamonds. Okay. N, well, that's north. Okay. N is for north. And we're going to put here, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put these, how many hands we had, and I'll put, so we correlate with one side and the other. That was the first hand. This is going, so this is actually going to be the first hand. Just so you know, this will be the second hand. This, my fault. This is actually third hand. I had mentioned to Mojo to do something, and so it kind of took it out of order. My doing, and that was the fifth hand. Okay, so we got clarification that we got 3 diamonds north. What's this plus 4? Well, that is odd tricks above book. As we know, book is 6 tricks. So they were supposed to get 6 plus 3 to get 9, but they actually got 10 tricks. Now the first 3, we'll times that by 20, because it's diamonds, and it gets us 60 points. Okay, this is the first hand. So these right here are those contract points we were speaking about before. Again, they got 1 extra trick because they only need 3, but they got 4 odd tricks. So for that extra odd trick, any odd trick above book, you get 20 points for diamonds, and that comes to the 20. So there's your 20 points. That's your over trick or extra trick points that you're going to get there. Now we're going down the line here. We got 2 4SS. Well, we know what 4 is, and S is the spades. Okay. And S is also south. Okay. So we got south going here. And if we look at right next to south, as I'm writing here, you'll see a -2. Well, 4 spades south, they needed to have 4 odd tricks above book, which means they needed to have 10. Okay? But they were -2, so they only got 8. Well, okay, so what happens? As we showed that big donut hole, well, south is not going to get anything. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and clarify here. We got south and north as us, and we got west and east as them. Okay, cool. Okay, so what happens when you're too short? As we mentioned before, if you're too short, well, the other team will get 50 times how many tricks you are short. And so the 50 times 2 equals 100 points. And so for that second hand, South bid for spades, but they did not make the contract. They got set by West East, and West East gets 50 points times the 2 tricks they were short equals 100 points. Now we'll skip down to here to 3, and we got 2 clubs. Okay, we're up here in clubs. 2 clubs, and we got +2, but right here. 2 clubs. Who was it by? W, West. So we got West, who was the declare. And as we mentioned before, the declarers are the ones who won the bid, but they still are partner with their buddy East. So West and East are still buddies, and they do this together, but the declarer is the one who makes all the decisions during the hand. So on this 2 club +2, this means they got 2 odd tricks above book, which is 8. And because of that, they are awarded 2 times 20 points, giving them 40 points. This was the third hand here. Okay. And now we go on to 4. I'm just going to write it down here. God, it seems like the number is getting bigger. Now we're back up to 4, and we got 1N, and that kind of might confuse you a little bit. N is short for no trump. They don't put 1NT. They just put 4N, or 1N, excuse me. So 1 no trump. Here's our no trump. They bid, it was from North. North is getting in there again. They're a very frequent flyer when it comes to being the declare. Okay. And they got their 1 above book. So their odd trick, actually you add 40. Remember that very first odd trick that you get above book is 40 points. And 40 points goes down here, and that's 4. Okay. Now, what Mojo had brought to our attention is that as we were going along here, this 60 points, because it doesn't equal to 100 points, it's considered a part score. And then when West East got their 40 points, that was considered a part score. Then when North South, got 40 points, that was another part score. But if the part score equals 100 and more, you get a game, which is why he put this line below here, and they got game. They got that first game. So you don't have to get a game all at one time. Now you can, which comes back to the 5th example here, which is 3NE. We got 3N. Now we distinguish that N is actually no trump, and E, hey, East actually finally got into the picture here. And actually they did so with a bang, I should say, because as Mojo has put across to us, 3 no trump is one of the most popular bids in bridge. And in this sense, they showed 3NT, and they got their +3. They got their 3 odd tricks above book, which is 6 tricks. So they got 9 tricks in all. And we take the 3. Now the first odd trick, they get 40. The second odd trick, they got 30. And then they got another 30. And that's what brought us to that. So in other words, I'll even make it just so we see it. Just kind of get what they had got. So their first odd trick, they got 40 points. Then they got 30 points for the second one and 30 for their third one. That's that 3N3. And that's 100 points. And they won a game. And in fact, as Mr. Mojo put across us, this is a game contract bid. Yeah, that's the game contract bid, and they won that game. Now, I do want to go ahead and end with something that Mojo had teased us with, which was when a side wins, when one of these sides wins 2 games, it ends the rubber, which is it ends the match. Well, okay, well, what's the significance of that? Because when you get that second game, you win the match and you get bonus points. Yes, so we are going to finally get to those bonus points next week. So hey, please stay tuned. And thank you for listening and viewing our vlog pod today. And just kind of float and cruise along with us as we all gain the fundamentals together. Yeah, let's do it together. Let's float and drift. Woo!